at all. Oh, there we go.
Hey, folks.
Good morning, Matt.
Hi there.
Did you ping Rob?
Already. I was just on call with Rob, so I didn't ping him, but I think he knows that the meeting is happening. I just don't know if he's joining.
I sent him a notice, a question. I've been working with him yesterday about these Solarcast Nanos and trouble with the Grafana pages. And I sent him just a quick ping about 20 minutes ago asking, how's your day going? And he hasn't responded. So he's really busy, or I kept him up too late last night and he's asleep. I don't know.
Could be. Quick question before we get too into it. Did one of you hit the recording button, or did it just turn on by itself?
I did not hit it.
No? Okay.
Neither.
Okay, then it's probably on my end, which is good because it means I'll get the file. I was worried for a minute that like maybe one of you was recording and you're gonna have to send me the file afterwards or something. But
did you do it? Do you do it sort of unconsciously, or is it actually automatic?
I wonder if, well, you can set it in meeting settings, but like it didn't used to work, but maybe Zoom changed something and now it works. So
I think I get an app update on Zoom about every week or two.
Yep.
Cool. Somewhere.
Which is nice. Auto recording is a good thing. I don't have to remember to hit the button, which is often a challenge. Cool. So yeah, we'll see if Rob joins. We could also just talk about whatever we need to talk about, and then Rob can watch it and respond later, that like he did last week, which I thought was pretty good. So yeah. So what's going on? I think I still need to do a prod deploy, but it didn't actually work. We're running into a problem recently with the prod deploys where like the jobs, I think as the data set increases, the export jobs are getting longer and longer. And like, it's really common to run in a situation where we try to deploy and we're like halfway through a job and basically the deploy will block and then time out because it doesn't want to like yank the code out from the middle of the deploy, which makes sense, or, from the middle of the export job. And I think that's what I probably hit. I'll load up the console so I can see what's going on there. But Emre, thanks for cleaning up master, because that was the main thing that like was blocking the prod deploy for the new UI. So that's good. And so it's probably just a matter of me like cleaning out the SQs and doing all that sort of junk and like making sure that we don't have like a backlog of a whole bunch of queries hanging out, and then I can hit the prod deploy button and everything should work. So I could maybe even do that while we're chatting here. It's kind of annoying. We're reaching a point where like we're gonna have to come up with a much more graceful way to do all these export jobs or something, because like they're getting really long and sometimes they like run a little too long and then they stack up and we're just done. Like I think you've seen that the alert that comes into about like database disk space. The reason that seems to happen is because like jobs are starting to go too long, and like Postgres is trying to like give each query a consistent view of the world, and so as a result, like it keeps copying, making new copies of the data in order to keep the view consistent for each query. And then we start to run out of space is the way that it usually presents itself. So it's not actually we're storing a lot of data. I think it's like Postgres is just copying the data in order to maintain ACID compliance basically. So yeah, good times. We'll have to come up with something at some point. I think that was sort of, I know I have, like, I think I talked about it in this one where I was thinking like, wouldn't it be neat to like look at something that actually does like once a night spins up like a really big database instance with a snapshot of our data and like exports from that and then turns it off again. So that way we don't spend like, that way we get like a big beefy database just for the export, but we don't hopefully spend a bunch of money. Doesn't matter, just once a day, once every 24 hours. Yeah, once every 24 hours.
Is it possible to do something like that once every like 28 hours?
Sure, why not?
Because I think we can. Then the burden of having a slow response or whatever would not be on one time zone. It'd sort of move around the globe over the month.
Well, so what I'm proposing there is it wouldn't even be, you wouldn't have like a slow response. Like I'm actually proposing like every 24 hours or so, it would stand up a whole new VM with a snapshot of our data and then export from there. And so the main system wouldn't even notice it. And we might be able to do like, anyway, I guess what I'm getting at is I'm pretty sure there's a more clever way that we can do an export of hundreds of gigabytes worth of data than what we're doing today. Because
then why have it do it on an interval?
I mean, that's what we do to like, why have it do it on an interval as opposed to like continuous?
Why not have it do it every time it started, restart every time it finishes?
Yeah, it would cost a lot of money is the thing.
Okay,
Big
well,
databases are
that's a pretty
expensive.
good reason.
Yeah.
Then why do it every day?
Yeah.
Why not do it once a week?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, to keep it cheap. But basically, like we spend a lot of money on databases right now because we run a fairly large database to support these. I think it's like every 6 hours is what they run right now for the exports. So, you know, we could probably, if we came up with a new way to handle the exports, we could probably do it cheaper and or faster, or some better balance of the two. But right now, what we've got going on is like pretty naive, where we just always have a pretty big database running. And it's like big enough to get the job done, but not big enough that jobs can stack up and things like that. And then we run into trouble. So does that make sense? Yeah, cool. So it looks like it just didn't deploy.
Hey, we have video from Rob.
Yeah, sometimes
He's usually voice only.
That's correct.
Cool.
Oh, it's
A little
early
bit
in the
more
month, isn't it?
Just
Yes,
about to say
that's
that. He hasn't burnt out his data cap yet. Cool.
That's true.
Cool. So I'll try to get that prod deploy done, which would be nice, because then we'll have like a dedicated AirNet page. We'll have the new UI, which is mobile friendly. And I think probably the main thing that just leaves is like the image attachment work, which I think also seems to be working pretty well. So I tried that on dev. I haven't given it a review since the last round of like changes. Because I think originally it had like hard-coded keys, and that's what I pushed to dev. And so now it doesn't have hard-coded keys anymore. I think it just works on like the environment variable.
Right.
Cool. Does it?
Yep.
And is it the same one? Actually, here I can just load it up here to see what I set. Oh wait, no, I can't, because I'll show off the key in the recording. Do that all the time. Let me see what the name of the variable that I set in dev was, just to see if it's the same variable that.
Cloudinary URL.
Just cloudinary URL. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was the name. You just set it up and then it works.
Okay,
just
cool.
like that.
Actually, I can show it, and it doesn't. If I view this page, it doesn't actually show me the value of the key. So this is the key. So that means it should just work, and then probably once I do that, it'll be using the Cloudinary account that I set up for operations at Safecast, which will be good. And with that, like, I think, you know, we only have you till the end of the month, so we should probably choose whatever you look at pretty carefully, you know, like taking out like the refresh or something, like keep it pretty small. Let's not try to get
He'll
into.
be banned from the internet after the end of this month.
Well, I mean, it'd be awesome if you can still contribute, but the pattern so far has been that folks, once they're officially not, you know, on the
the amount of available
project,
time goes way down.
There's not a lot of people who can keep contributing once they pick up like a full day job or whatever. So it'd be awesome if you could, but I'm not gonna try to expect anything. So to that end, I mean, I'd say keep it simple.
I will still be an internet company here for 3 weeks when I go to Germany. So we have about 2 months actually together.
Cool.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
Oh, good. Sweet.
But in March it will be like working from home.
Oh, in Germany you will be working from home?
Right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so probably, where did we have the refresh one? This one. It might be good to do this. It looks like, oh, good, you already have a PR open, sweet. Cool. So it just needs someone to review that. This one might be interesting to look at. Good.
I just removed the refresh completely. Is that fine, or should I? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. This one might be interesting to look at. I think there's probably also going to be, like, once we really launch, actually, it's not deployed anywhere right now, but once we really launch those AirNote pages, I'm sure we're going to have a whole bunch of things of like, oh, we want this graph and we want this graph and we want this graph. And like, I don't have an issue open for it yet, but I bet I'm going to have to open one that's like, hey, let's do some better mapping. Let's do some better visualizations on the device story page to show like here. Because you can sort of imagine like this dashboard is sort of like the prototype of what we might imagine the AirNote landing page to look like. And there's like a lot more graphs, right? Like right now, I think the AirNote landing page just has this one and this one. You know, we've also talked about, wouldn't it be nice to have, instead of 2 temperature graphs, just have one that is like switchable, for example. So that might be a good space to, yeah, that might be a good space to explore, is like, you know, rather than just embedding a couple of Grafana graphs and then linking to a Grafana, could we do more custom visualizations kind of right there on the landing page, and probably make the page lighter too, because right now I think we pay like an extra 12 megabytes for those 2 Grafana iframes. So if we start iframing more and more Grafana stuff in, we're probably going to get more and more megabytes of JavaScript payload from Grafana. So I think you said you were looking at some graphing library, but I forget what it was. So
yeah, DeckGL, but
yeah.
I couldn't get it integrated into the Rails app, so I'm kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, yeah. If you can get it doing something basic, you can probably open that just as a, you know, like a junk PR, and then that way we can have like either me or Eto or whoever try to figure out how they can put it in the app.
Oh, but also we should mention to Emron that Baram, what's his name? We had
Patram.
a meeting before.
Yep.
Baram can do with the helping. Maybe he can help too. Maybe he knows WebGL and how to implement that.
Yeah, that would be good. So yeah, that could be a good space for you to explore. If you're pretty much just waiting on reviews for these other 2 things, which looks like is probably the case. So cool. There is this one which you could look at. It's, you know, it's database related stuff, which can be a little finicky, but you could give it a look and see what you think. And
which one is that?
Adding an updated at index to the measurements table, because we get a bunch of queries that are like, show me the last measurement, or show me the measurement since like the last hour, and they could probably be a little bit quicker if we had an index on that field. I know Ato's been looking at this one, but he just has a draft PR right now, so you could probably help out by looking at what Ato's got going on there, maybe doing reviews. The rest of this stuff is all reporting, so that's all going to be a big gear change for you, since it's not a Rails app, it's a Golang and TypeScript app. Basically, it's, you know, it's working on Grafana. Yeah, that's pretty much what we have. Let's see what's going on with the prod work. Anyone have anything else they want to talk about while I poke at Beanstalk and see if I can get it deployed?
I'm having a lot of problems with Grafana pages, but I'm not sure that we need to go into it here.
We could.
In particular, they don't, the pages I've been using to look at the last couple of days don't scroll, so I can only see whatever comes on the top of this page.
Really?
On what kind of device?
Could be me.
Like, this seems to be scrolling okay here.
Yeah, but here, let me pull one up. Where is it? For instance, this one, I don't know if you can see that, it's on my iPad, and it won't move at all. And I don't have a mouse or a mouse wheel or anything to be able to alternately scroll it here. It's not gonna go. That's not gonna show.
Is that just like iOS Safari?
What's that?
Is that just like Safari on iOS?
Yeah, Safari and iOS, but I've tried it in Chrome. Same thing.
Yeah.
It might be something with the scroll interface, you know, from the touch screen on the iOS, not getting to the page. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Yeah.
I don't know. I consider that a minor problem, because I'm really just trying to see if data from devices is coming in, and I'm having lots of trouble, and I don't know where the stoppage is. That's what I'm working with Rob on yesterday and today. I'm beginning to question whether I should even go deploy these devices this weekend, because I hate to stick them out, you know, in the zone where they're hard to get to, and then find out that I've got to go update their firmware or they don't work, and I don't know.
Let's check that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is, hold on, I got to load up that same dashboard, but I mean, like, at least this one, this one seems to be scrolling for me. It does like different panels scroll differently. So like if I put my finger it's hard to see with the virtual background. You
The
know,
map
if I put my finger in the middle of one of these panels, I think the panel starts to scroll.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, yeah. I got it. I just have to touch not in a panel.
Yeah, because otherwise I think the panel will try to scroll.
Right. So you got to find the little gaps between the panels, and then the page will move. Okay, that's a fix.
Good.
Of sorts.
Great. Glad we could work that out.
It's just that yeah, like 99% of the screen is panel, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And no scroll bars appear on the side, you know. So, but that's okay.
Yeah, we could even, it might be worth opening up a Grafana issue, because like it doesn't make sense that the lines would grab your scroll focus. Like the map makes some sense, right? Because you probably want to move the map around. But it's weird that the line graphs would also steal your scroll focus.
Maybe if they had data in them, they would zoom or scroll.
Doesn't look like they do though. So yeah, it might be worth opening a Grafana issue just to like let them know that it's happening. But yeah, in the meantime, basically move your finger off to the right-hand side where there's, you know, nothing that'll try to steal your scroll control.
Right. Well, there's a few little pixels between the graphs that I can grab to make it scroll.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you should be okay. So, but yeah, let's open up a Grafana issue. Just to, because it's like the map or like a table, for example, would make sense to steal your scroll focus because you probably want to scroll around in those, but like there's no scroll response in the line graph, so why would it try to steal your scroll focus?
Well, it's doing something because when I touch it, it tries to, it shows me a little box pops up with that data point if there's one nearby. So I don't know, but okay.
Yep.
Now the next problem is why there is no data on this dashboard. And I have no idea why.
Which device are you trying to load up?
That's a different story. No, that's because the date is probably wrong. If you do for 5 years, you will see more data showing up.
Okay, Matt, the data, the device I'm looking at is 3886201722.
Hang on a second. We also appear to have lost the dropdown for the variable, which is weird.
What variables?
Yeah, like usually there's a little drop down at the top that lets you flip to a different. Yeah, I'm not.
Different devices, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not getting it on mine for some reason. Maybe I just have like a cache problem.
I broke it.
Anyway, has it ever been online?
Yes.
Okay, because in that case we can get to it from api.safecast.org. Is it registered to you or somebody else?
No idea.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's registered to Peter.
To Peter. What was the number again?
3886. Blah blah blah. That should be enough.
Oh yeah, this
blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah.
That reminds me, Emre. This we probably still need to do a little bit of focus work on this one because as I'm typing.
It should work on the new layout.
Oh, does it? Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sweet. So once I get that deployed, we'll be good.
38, not 33.
38, yeah. 886. No, it doesn't look like TT Server's ever seen it.
Okay.
And for some reason, like I was saying here, I'm missing my drop down here, and I don't know why.
But Joe, you can go to the ops channel and then look in there.
Yeah, Peter suggested that yesterday. I told him I would be just as well to run a program that generates all the digits of pi and search in there for the data.
That's a good idea.
Okay, this one's got it. 3886.
That's it.
Is. I wonder why the search here didn't pick it up. Cool. So that's the one.
I've seen that too sometimes.
Has it seen? Oh, there's a point. So it's got something. It looks like it has never sent any latitude or longitude information.
Yes, no GPS there. It has
can we verify that it has not sent it, or is the stoppage somewhere further along? Do we know that the problem is in the device?
But it's not.
It says
No.
Okay, that location that's in the you're highlighting there, that's like California. If I look at the screen itself, it gives a longitude which is nearby, within 100 meters of where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that it can't get a GPS lock from its receiver. It's just I don't know why it's not feeding through. And according to all the display on the device itself, it looks like it's working normally.
Yeah.
I mean, it says it lists the CPM readings and the latitude and longitude, and the connection was successful. Things like that.
Yeah, this looks good. And actually, I can see a lat long here. It's just that I don't know. Maybe I picked a bad dashboard because, like I said, the main one didn't have this drop box that I was trying to get.
Right.
So I don't know why this isn't displaying. Let me see if maybe.
Well, what was that lat long again? Was that -118? That sounds like something California.
Yeah. 34 minus 118.
34 minus 118. That's California. Here, here is like 35 139.
Mm-hmm. And those appear to be the most recent measurements.
The reason why you don't get the box on the top is because it's from one device. I remember that Ray didn't want the device double on it.
Oh, like we're hiding it on purpose?
Yes, we took it out. Yes, we took it out. It is
Gotcha.
variable. You can set it up.
Gotcha. Let me just see. This is the one I think that I usually use. That hopefully has a working geo.
Yeah.
There you go. That's working now. So now we can see where the lat long is coming in. And yeah, it looks like this is the most, this is the last 12 hours.
Okay, but so how old is that lat long data?
It came in, where's the date? It's in here somewhere. I just can't see it. There it is. There's the timestamp.
That's yesterday.
Yesterday UTC. It's a few hours ago, right? So it's UTC 2 a.m. right now. So it's about 3 hours ago. It came in.
And this device hasn't been in California for over a year.
Yeah. No, it has an old GPS there. I think it remembers the GPS, and maybe this is a device that came from Yori.
Yes, but the device doesn't remember the location. Something in our servers is remembering the location.
Mm-hmm.
That could be TT Surf. I wouldn't be surprised that TT Surf. No, that's not true because we throw away the data every month. So
what is it? A Solarcast or what is it?
It's a Solarcast Nano.
Yeah, it's supposed to send its own GPS data.
Right, and it's like I said, it has correct GPS data based on the display on its screen. And why is it not? And why no radiation data? Why only a battery information?
No, there's radiation data. Let's hear.
No, but
there is?
That's the way the power works, Joe. Because first I think the code sent the measurement from the battery, and then later it sends out the data. I have to check why.
Well, either way, I mean, this has a radiation measurement. So
it does. It does. Okay, there's one. Yeah, and LND 728, both of them. So it has both of them.
This is the only thing we've gotten in the last 12 hours. Yeah.
One graph up.
Yeah, but that's correct. That's correct. That should be correct.
It's a reasonable number. Yeah. So it's just a question of why is it not, like, is it in a location where it should be able to get a GPS lock and a charge?
It is not only, it is outside, it has a GPS lock. I've looked at the indications on the GPS module itself, said it got a lock. The screen on the device says GPS found, and it read out a latitude and longitude, and I that's my location.
We'll also have to figure out why it's not showing up here.
If the problem is not in the device itself, but in our our infrastructure somewhere, then I feel confident to go and deploy these things this weekend. But if the problem is in the devices and I need to change the firmware or something, then I don't want to drive up and and start mounting these things to telephone poles in the exclusion zone.
And I think you sent me the picture of the device. Huh? you?
This
No?
one, I think I sent, I don't remember. I found the problem with this one. This was the one that said it had
The SIM problem?
phona error. And I fixed that. It turns out the SIM card was loose.
Oh, that's a very easy fix. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good
and I must
troubleshooting.
have done it when we were putting them, when we were checking the batteries and stuff at the office the other day. We were worried about whether they had Solarcom or AT&T SIM cards in them. So I opened one, this one, and looked at it, and I guess I didn't get the SIM card back in adequately.
Okay.
So I was
I was
hoping
also,
we
because
could
you
check
said it
out.
came from Jory, I was worried that it had the wrong module with the wrong frequencies.
I was hoping that we could see information on TT serve here, but there's another weird thing happening, which is this device. Yep.
What?
It's not in here. I don't know what Rob was trying to say.
Oh.
So normally TT serve would send us information about all the devices, but this particular device ID is not present in the devices.
Well,
so
I've had another
but
issue.
but-
I'm 4 devices I'm
but
trying to
if
get
you
up.
go to the options,
options.
I've chosen this one because it had the fewest
Right.
errors, and the ID on its LCD screen, or it's on its OLED screen, matched the one on its case. But some of them they don't match. So I kind of wonder if there is some trouble that the ID they're broadcasting is not the ID we know them as.
that could be that it's sending the correct data, but it's the wrong ID.
Or some other ID,
That
yeah.
could make sense. But I think the ID is automatically generated based on the certain conditions. I think
Right, something on the Red Bear, right? Doesn't it have like some kind of unique?
the unique thing on it. Yeah.
And if that got changed, or if we've swapped components because we were repairing one of these, or the firmware decided to get it a different way, could it be that's the problem, that the ID number that's going out with the other data, like the location data, just doesn't match this device?
Yeah, maybe it's coming in as a different ID. It's at your house, right?
Yes, it's physically 2 or 3 meters from me, but on the other side of a wall.
Yeah.
In the sunlight, being very sunflowerish.
This is still loading. Maybe it'll load in the last couple minutes that we have here, but I should be able to use this to see what IDs are coming from your basic vicinity, and that way we might be able to identify it. So just waiting for
there's another Solarcast Nano here that's been running for years, and it also is acting strangely just for the last recently. Recently, it's only been sending data points about twice a day instead of once every 5 minutes, and I have not even begun to explore what's going on with that one.
But I think they were never sent every 5 minutes. The Solarcast.
Oh, how often do they send?
I think 15 is the minimum that the Ray set up.
Okay, well, looking at the graph, if you look at the graph for that one, it's 4075, blah, blah, blah. It has a very high frequency until about a week or so ago, and then now it's gone down to like once or twice every 24 hours.
So where's Joe's house?
So the one right to there you go, the pink one underneath Funabashi in Matsudo, that's me.
Oh, Matsudo?
Yeah.
Cool. So let's draw a shape. Cool. So this is what we have reporting from there right now.
40075. That's the one that's been here forever.
And then we have 2, but no radiation measurement in the last 7 days. Oh, hold on a second. It might be a different field though. This is
because it's 728. That's I don't recognize either of those numbers, but I've had 5 or 6 of them turned on at various times in the last 48 hours here. I try not to turn all of them on at once because for exactly this reason. I'm trying to test them one at a time. Which one's that?
It's not that one because that's a point cast.
Oh, that's a point cast. Yeah, that one's plugged into the wall, and
it's not this one you said, right?
It even has which one?
The
40075 is the one that's been on my balcony for 2 years.
Okay, and we're not worried about that one. That seems to be functioning correctly.
It's the one that the frequency has suddenly fallen.
Yeah,
it's the one that frequency has suddenly fallen on.
Okay, But the one that you're worried about is neither of these two, which means, yeah, okay, which makes sense because I'm like, do you recognize these two IDs? Like, is there any chance the one that the 388 that you're interested in is not actually coming in as 388, but like something else?
It's possible, and I don't recognize either of those numbers.
Yeah, so you have two other devices that have reported from your location in the last 7 days, one of which seems to be fairly active, is this 374.
Oh, that could be the point cast. Not the point cast, the solar cast, the full size solar cast.
The big one, yeah.
Yeah. There's a my balcony is covered with solar panels and radiation detectors.
Of course, I would expect nothing else. Anyway, and then so this one you recognize, so we're not worried about this one. And then there's this one, which is actually that's a good point. I think I can put the device class in here, and that'll. Oh no, it just says Safecast. It doesn't tell us anything about SolarCast versus SolarCast Now or anything like that. But
I think it does if it's not. Some of them are called Safecast, but some of them say point cast. Some of them say.
So you have this other one, but it doesn't. There's nothing really notable. There's no radiation measurement or anything.
What's the number on it?
32100.
3210. Let me go look at the ones that are sitting on the table and see if that matches any of them.
Yeah. Well, there's no radiation measurement in the last 7 days either. Yeah, take that column off. It's not doing us any good. Yeah, it doesn't look like this has ever sent us any actual measurements, just lat long and battery information.
Nope, that doesn't match. That doesn't match any of the devices I can find.
Well, it's been sending a little data over the last 90 days, but nothing other than just lat long and battery information. So I don't know
What's
what it is.
What's the most recent?
It is this one here. It was just a handful of hours ago.
Okay, well, like I said, I noticed on at least one of them that that when it came on, this number it put on the screen did not match the number on its sticker.
Mm.
So it could be that one.
Yeah.
And do you know the number for it, Joe?
This is the one that's reporting.
I didn't. First, I don't know what that means. What's the number for it?
The number, I mean the ID number.
That's the question we're asking, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
How do I define the ID number?
And when it starts up, that's the only thing it knows about. It doesn't know anything about what's out of the box.
Right,
and if
right.
you
So
start up and
I haven't recorded. What I should do is go turn them on one at a time and write down the numbers that flash by on the power up screen, but I haven't.
Take a picture. That's easier.
What I did was I found this one that's outside now, and it turned it on, and its number matched its label, and it didn't have any errors, so I stuck it outside.
Okay.
But
that's the one that's reporting from California.
One. Some, in the not too distant past, humans actually memorized phone numbers, and we knew hundreds of numbers in our head. Not anymore.
Ideally, we shouldn't have to, but
right. This is a fundamental problem, I think, with this whole system, is that I should not have to memorize, a dozen 12-digit numbers.
No, I completely agree.
Anyway, we can definitely see that device. It's just not reporting. According to the device, it doesn't think it's at your house. It thinks it's in California. And so there's a question as to why it's not updating its location. I don't have insight into like if TT-Serve might be doing some caching. I don't think it is. I'm pretty sure it's not. Ray would know for sure. But as far as the data that's coming in
this morning, and he hasn't responded.
But yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand, because if the GPS on the display shows it knows about the location.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
So it should be able to send that data.
More importantly, the data, the radiation or the radiation and battery that came in has the correct date. You know, it's the right time zone and time. So how can it know that if it hasn't had a GPS reception?
That's correct.
And there's the other angle on this too, is why is TT-Serve not even showing us this device either? So I think it's probably, yeah, we should probably get Ray involved in this question. And then I guess between Ray and Rob, we can probably figure out what's going on with this device.
Well, if anybody in this group is poking around at this and comes across anything that'll help answer my burning question, which is should I abort my deployments this Saturday? You know, in the next 2 days, let me know.
Yeah.
Or if you come across something that says, oh, we don't know how to fix it, but we know where the bug is and it's not in the Pelican case, then I'll deploy them.
Yep. That makes sense.
All right, we're just about to run out of time. I think we need the combination of Ray and Rob to try to figure out what's going on with this box.
And I'll try to be the center of that if I can, but it's,
Yes, so. You should be.
Cool. We'll get it sorted. That's a bummer.
There was a whole discussion starting back with the Solarcast. One of Ray's goals in the design, what he said politely, is to get jam out of the loop, because the deployments were too dependent on my expertise and that doesn't scale. And now we need other people in the loop. It's gotten worse.
Okay, I have to go to.
And we're out of time. We got like 120 more seconds. So.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll post the recording. Talk to y'all soon.
Okay.
Okay, good.
See you guys.
Bye bye.